Assalamu alaikum to the Muslims and peace be unto the non-Muslims. Today I'm going to talk about atheism, um, which I think is one of the most irrational and illogical and naive as well um, philosophies out there. And I want to I want to approach it from the view of to all the atheists out there. I want to approach it from the angle of morality because if you happen to be an atheist, yeah, that means that because you don't believe in a God, then you believe that we just got here somehow. Like, okay, let's deal with that later. But we got here, yeah, and now, obviously, you don't believe in a God that knows everything and says what's right and what's wrong. So my question to you now, atheist, is that are you telling me that every person decides for themselves what's right and what's wrong? Because if it is that you believe that, yeah, then you can't say being a criminal or being a rapist is wrong, or being an oppressor is wrong. Because think about it. Okay, you live your life, yeah. So you decide for yourself as a human being, yeah, what's right and what's wrong, yeah. So how can you tell another human being, yeah, what he should take as right or wrong? Because then now you're trying to play God on top of him or society. So wait a minute. Just say for example, I'm a, you're atheist and I'm atheist number two. You're atheist number one. I'm atheist number two. You in your mind you say that robbing is wrong. You should work. You should get a job, and you should be nice to people, and you should treat everybody, yeah, as you want to be treated. That's your set of rules. I'm an atheist just like you. We have the same theology, but I think differently to you. I live in a poor council estate. The lifts are always filled with urine. Everything is painted around me is grey and dull and horrible. All the people that live in my area are broke, yeah. And I believe that it's okay for me to rob off rich people because they have a lot and I have a little bit, yeah, or to steal from banks because the money is insured, yeah, and the people are going to get their money back anyway. And if I don't, or whatever. And if no one gets hurt in the process, then that's okay. And if they do get hurt in the process anyway, I'm poor, they're rich, they get over it. It's just one day of their life. So how are you gonna prove to me now, as a fellow atheist with the same belief, yeah, that what I'm doing is wrong? You can tell me that you don't think you should do it, but you can't tell me I'm wrong for choosing that to be right. Because at the end of the day, if there's no God that created the world and is more knowledgeable than everyone else and tells us what's right and what's wrong, then we're left to define right and wrong with our own intellect. And your intellect is not going to be the same as the next man's intellect, and the next man's intellect is not going to be the same as anyone else. So how are you as an atheist going to tell me that being a criminal, yeah, is wrong? If I'm allowed to give myself the own right and wrong, how? What are you gonna say to you? You're gonna say, oh, well, I think robbery is wrong, and I think being a person is wrong, and I think stealing is wrong, yeah, and you should think that too. I don't want to think that too. Yeah, but I came to this conclusion that robbing and stealing is wrong because I've met victims of people who have been hurt, and so what? I don't care. At the end of the day, you only live once, yeah. There's no day of judgment, as you atheists say. Oh, you know, there's no day of judgment. You only live once, and my purpose in life is to enjoy myself by any means necessary. How are you gonna tell me that's wrong, atheist number one? It's not good to harm people. It's not good for me to be poor. Oh, but they worked hard. Well, I'll be. Oh, well, I can't even work hard. Racism exists. People should treat people with respect. Okay, people will respect me once I've got nice things. So, atheist number one, you cannot prove to atheist number two that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is or what you're doing is wrong, and he cannot prove to you what he's doing is right and wrong. So basically, all atheists, they live in a moral vacuum. They believe in a world of subjectivity. They have subjective morals. Meaning, there's subjective means that it's only for this person or this society. But objective morals mean overall, all over the globe, it's definitely wrong, it's definitely wrong. Right. See, us as Muslims, we believe in objective morality. We believe that there's a creator, that this world isn't a fluke. You know, you never accept that a BMW comes about by chance, or this phone come about by chance. If I told you that this phone didn't come off a conveyor belt of Nokia manufacturers, if I told you that this phone was just thrown up in the air, like some glass was thrown up in the air, some plastic was thrown up in the air, some metal was thrown up in the air, some electricity was thrown up in the air, and then what there is, it came down like this together, all together, compiled tightly, you wouldn't believe me. And what's more complex, this or the universe? The universe. So you're telling me atheists believe, yeah, that a mobile phone can't come about by chance, but the universe that is billions and trillions and millions times more complex can? How does that make sense? That means you believe in a law that the more complex something is, the less it requires a creator. That's irrational, that's illogical, and that's naive. So what I want to get back to you as well is that being an atheist means that there is no right and wrong. There's just right and wrong for you, and you live in your own little world, and there's right and wrong for him, and they live in their world. And you can't prove to him that this is right and wrong, and he can't prove to you that's right and wrong. Whereas us Muslims, we believe that right and wrong is internationally and global, and the only one who can define what's right and wrong, yeah, is the creator. I'll give you a problem. Look. For example, in this law, in this country, the age of consent, and I asked the policeman this the other day. We had a conversation, polite conversation. We had a discourse, and I asked him. I said, "Officer," and he said, "Officer, I've got a question for you." And he said, "What's that?" I said, "There was a stage when the age of consent in this country was 18." And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." And there was people who, under the age of consent, they were like, who had sex under the age of consent, they were given probation orders, community service, and some people were even in prison. And he said, "Yes." And I said, "But now that the law has changed to 16, yeah, does that mean that people were wrongfully imprisoned?" And he looked at me and he smiled, and he says, "No comment." And he knows he's stuck, because if he says that, yeah, people were wrongly in prison, I'm going to say to him, so how is that justice? How is it that one day, if you have sexual relationships under the age of 18, or under the age of 18, you can get probation, you can get community service order, or you can be imprisoned, yeah? But the next day, yeah, you could. There's nothing wrong with it. The government actually backs you. Like, how is that possible? You know. And basically, I like to say as well. What is it? What else? What else is there? That's another thing. I'd like to ask atheists out there. Do you believe that homosexuality is wrong? And if you say to me that you believe, how can I say? If you say to me that that it's not wrong, then I'm going to say, okay, why is it not wrong? And because I speak to like atheists and secularists and these kind of people a lot, I know how to answer. You're going to say because they're two, They're two adults, and you know they're not harming anybody, and we believe in democracy and freedom and all the other stuff. Okay, my question to you is this, atheists and homosexuals out there. Say a woman has a child, and she lives with that child, yeah, and that child gets to the age of consent, yeah. Now, she never played no funny little game. She never used to molest the child. She never used to muck about with the child. She never used to, sleep like do anything sexual with the child. But that child grew up, yeah, and when it reached the age of, I don't know, of like 18 or whatever the thing is, the age of consent is, because it's always changing, is she decided that she wants to have sex with her mother. Yeah, is that wrong? According to us, it's wrong. Is because Islam says that it's incest. It's wrong. But I'm asking you as an atheist: is it wrong for a mother to sleep with her child, or for the child to sleep with their mother if they both consent? Now, if you're atheist, you can't say nothing's wrong because it fits the law. Two consenting adults.